Kanye West and Lil Wayne have spent years shaping the sound and direction of modern hip-hop, both as artists and as cultural forces. Now, that legacy is quietly shifting into a new era because their children are starting to step into the spotlight. What began as a simple music collaboration between the next generation has now turned into a viral moment and behind the scenes. It's reportedly stirring up tension that has fans wondering if this could eventually put two rap dynasties on a collision course. In early January 2026, North West, the 12-year-old daughter of Kanye West and Kim Kardashian, officially earned her first producer credit on a released, streamable record. This wasn't a private experiment or a studio warm-up. It was a real commercial release that instantly put her name into the industry conversation in a serious way. She produced a track called Just Swag Up, a moody, trap-influenced record for 16-year-old Lil Novi, whose real name is Neil Carter, the son of Lil Wayne and singer Nivea. On paper, it already reads like a generational crossover moment. Kanye West's daughter producing for Lil Wayne's son, both stepping into music under the weight of their family names. North West didn't just contribute quietly in the background either. She shared the beat on her Instagram story, confirming her role in the production. The track itself is built on heavy 808s, distorted textures, and dark, atmospheric synths, with subtle guitar layers adding extra edge. It's moody, aggressive, and very much aligned with modern internet-driven trap aesthetics. Over that production, Lil Novi delivers a melodic, auto-tuned performance. His delivery leans heavily into contemporary rap trends, mixing emotional cadence with sudden ad-libs and punchy vocal shifts. It's the kind of sound designed for streaming-era attention spans, where mood and texture matter just as much as lyrical depth. Once the song dropped, the reaction online was immediate and intense. On X, TikTok, and hip-hop forums, Just Swag Up spread quickly, pulling in millions of views and sparking non-stop debate. Some listeners praised the creativity and the fact that two young artists from iconic families were collaborating at all. Others were more skeptical, questioning both the sound direction and the overall industry implications of such young artists being placed in this spotlight so early. But beyond the opinions, what really caught people's attention was what this moment represented. This wasn't just a song release. It was the children of two of the biggest rap figures of the 2000s actively participating in the culture that their fathers helped define. That alone made the internet react on a different level. For older fans in particular, the comparisons came fast. People who grew up during the peak of Kanye West and Lil Wayne's dominance suddenly found themselves watching the next generation step into the same creative space. It created a strange sense of overlap between nostalgia and the present moment, almost like history repeating itself in real time. Of course, the track didn't come without controversy. While North West's production was widely discussed and often praised for its boldness and atmosphere, Lil Novi's lyrics became a major point of criticism. In the song, he references partying, luxury lifestyle themes, and drug-related content, including mentions of substances like Molly. Critics argued that the subject matter feels far too mature for someone his age, especially given the visibility of the release and the involvement of even younger collaborators on the production side. That contrast is part of why the track exploded online. On one side, you have a 12-year-old producing a dark, layered beat that sounds surprisingly polished. On the other, you have a 16-year-old rapping about adult themes with confidence and detachment. That mix created a cultural flashpoint that people couldn't ignore. To really understand why this hit so hard, you have to go back to the era that made all of this possible. In the mid to late 2000s, Kanye West and Lil Wayne weren't just successful artists, they were unavoidable forces in music. Kanye evolved publicly from a backpack-wearing producer-rapper into a global creative icon, while Wayne dominated the mixtape circuit and later became one of the most influential rappers of his generation. Their collaborations helped define that era. Tracks like Barry Bonds, See You in My Nightmares, Lollipop, Remix, Forever, and Swagger Like Us weren't just features, they were cultural moments. These weren't occasional link-ups either. They represented a real creative relationship that stretched across years and different phases of both their careers. Even as time moved on, their paths kept crossing in different ways, whether through features or indirect influence. Now, that same connection is resurfacing through their children, in a completely different context, but with the same cultural weight. North West's involvement in music didn't begin with this collaboration. She had already appeared on Kanye West's 2024 single, Talking, which charted on the Billboard Hot 100. She also contributed to Bomb alongside her sister and appeared in other collaborative projects where her creative presence became more noticeable over time. From there, her evolution into production started becoming more visible. She began posting beats online, experimenting with sound, and building a style influenced by internet culture, experimental trap, and hyperpop-adjacent textures. It wasn't random either. It reflected the environment she grew up in, surrounded by production, sampling, and constant studio access. On the other side, Lil Novi has been steadily building his own identity as an artist. Growing up as the son of Lil Wayne, he was exposed to music early and gradually started releasing his own material. Over time, he developed a sound influenced by newer generation artists, leaning into rage rap, melodic flows, and internet-era production styles. He's also had visible support from his father, including appearances during performances and tour moments where Lil Wayne publicly hyped him up on stage. Those moments reinforced that while the name opens doors, the expectation is still to earn attention through actual output. So when Just Swag Up arrived, it didn't feel like a random collaboration. It felt like two parallel lineages finally intersecting in real time, shaped by legacy, access, and a shared cultural environment that neither of them chose, but both are now navigating. And as the track continues to circulate, gain reactions, and fuel debate, it's becoming clear that this moment isn't just about a viral song. It's about the early stages of a new generational shift in hip-hop, where the children of its biggest architects are now stepping forward and starting to define what comes next. What should have been a simple collaborative release quickly turned into something much bigger. The song, credited to Mag K and Lil Novi, was built on North West's production, something she confirmed herself by sharing the beat on her Instagram story. The track leans into distorted 808s, dark synth layers, and sharp guitar textures, creating a heavy, atmospheric soundscape. Over it, Lil Novi delivers a modern, auto-tuned performance, blending melodic flows with sudden ad-libs that cut through the mix. It's the kind of sound designed for the algorithm era, and almost immediately, the internet reacted in full force. Across social media platforms, especially X, the track spread rapidly, pulling in millions of views and sparking intense debate. Some listeners praised the energy and the experimentation. Others weren't convinced by the direction of this new wave. But a large portion of the audience was simply fascinated by what it represented, two legendary rap lineages crossing paths through their children. For many, it wasn't just about the music. It was about timing. Seeing North West step into an official producer role at just 12 years old felt both impressive and surreal. One comment captured the sentiment clearly, pointing out how natural it is for her to follow in her father's footsteps, but how unexpected it is to witness it happening this early. The track also sparked controversy, particularly around Lil Novi's lyrics. While North West's production received praise for its style and confidence, some listeners criticized the subject matter in his verses. He references partying, luxury excess, and drug-related themes, including mentions of substances like Molly. Critics argued the content feels too mature for a teenager, especially paired with an artist as young as North West on the production side. That contrast is part of what made the release so polarizing. A 12-year-old producing a hard-edged beat, paired with a 16-year-old delivering adult-themed lyrics, created a collision of youth, fame, and industry expectations that few knew how to interpret. To understand why this moment hit so hard culturally, you have to go back to the mid and late 2000s. Kanye West and Lil Wayne weren't just popular artists. They were defining forces of their era. Kanye evolved in public from backpack rapper to global tastemaker, while Wayne dominated the mixtape circuit and eventually exploded into mainstream dominance with a flood of releases that felt impossible to escape. Their collaborations became part of hip-hop history, from Barry Bonds to See You in My Nightmares, and later appearances on tracks like Forever and Swagger Like Us. Over time, their relationship shifted from occasional collaboration to a deeper creative overlap, with their work echoing across projects and eras. Now, decades later, their children are intersecting in the same way. The context around Northwest adds another layer to the moment. Her creative path didn't start with this release. She first appeared on music publicly through features on Kanye West's 2024 single, Talking, which charted on the Billboard Hot 100. She also contributed to Bomb alongside her sister and appeared on other collaborative projects where she even performed internationally. From there, her presence in music slowly expanded. She began sharing beats online, experimenting with production, and building a small but noticeable creative identity rooted in internet culture, anime influence, and experimental sound design. At the same time, Lil Nova has been building his own path. Growing up as the son of Lil Wayne, he has been around music his entire life, gradually stepping into recording, releasing projects, and developing his own sound influenced by newer generation artists. He's also been visibly supported by his father, who has appeared alongside him in performances and studio moments, signaling a hands-on approach to his development rather than passive distance. So when Just Swag Up dropped, it wasn't an isolated moment. It was the result of two parallel upbringings inside hip-hop royalty finally intersecting in public view. And as the track continues circulating online, one thing becomes increasingly clear. This isn't just a viral moment driven by famous names. It's the beginning of a new layer in hip-hop's generational story, where legacy isn't just inherited, it's being actively rebuilt in real time by the next wave.